Good morning, class. I hope you all are doing great and having fun out there at home with your parents. So, today we'll do compound adjectives. You're already aware about compound nouns, right? What are compound nouns? When two or more nouns are joined together, they come together to form a word. So, what are compound adjectives? Compound adjectives are made up of two or more words and they are joined by hyphen. So, when two or more words come together and are joined by a hyphen, they are all known as compound adjectives. Let's have a look at some of the examples here. For example, kind hearted. Kind hearted is made up of two words and is joined by a hyphen. So, I have never known a more kind hearted person. What kind of a person? A kind hearted. So, kind hearted is a compound noun, compound adjective. Secondly, I will wear that bottle green dress today. So, what color dress is it? Bottle green. And there are two words. It is made up of two words, bottle green. It is joined by hyphen, so it's a compound adjective. All right. So there are various examples of compound adjectives like single minded, thick skinned, well known, broad minded, hard nosed, etc. All right. So now have a look at these figures. Can you see any difference over here? You can see plant is tall enough, but the tree is taller than the plant, right? And the pole is tallest among the three. So when we compare objects or things, we use degree of comparison, right? That is only how we come to know that which plant or which object is taller or bigger than the first one. Okay. So if you see here, the plant is tall, okay? But the tree is taller than the plant, okay? And if you have a look at the pole, you will see the pole is the tallest among the three. So, tall, taller, tallest, these are all degrees. Okay, these are degrees of comparison of adjectives. Okay, now tall is a positive degree, taller is a comparative degree, and tallest is a superlative degree. How? Now I will explain you that. So, tall is a positive degree. Why? Because positive degree of comparison is used to state the quality of a person or thing without comparing it with other persons or things. So when I say this plant is tall, I'm just talking about this plant alone and I'm not taking any other object over here to compare with it, right? So this particular plant here, I'm just referring to it alone. So that is why the tall, which is the positive degree here, it's a positive degree of comparison. It's used to state the quality of a person or a thing without comparing it with the other thing. All right. So all these examples like tall, long, quiet, expensive, young, these are all positive degree of comparison of adjectives. So we don't change the form of adjectives here. It remains in the original form, right? Tall remains tall, long remains long, quiet remains quiet. It's in the first form. So the form of adjective is unchanged. Now taller. Here we are comparing the plant and the tree. So when we are comparing two things, the tree is taller than the plant. It is seen that the tree is taller than the plant. So we are comparing between two objects. Okay. So we are using comparative degree. So comparative degree is used when two persons or things are being compared. Now here plant and tree were being compared, so we used comparative degree. Okay. Now if you see the pole and compare it with a plant and with the tree, you see and you notice that the pole is the tallest among the three. So the pole is the tallest among the three. The tallest over here is the superlative degree. It describes the highest quality of the word or the highest degree. So it is used in comparing three or more persons or things. Okay, so like longest or tallest, fattest. So these are all superlative degrees. Now let's take up some examples over here, right? Rama's mango is sweet. Now, sweet. Here we only have in consideration one person's mango, that is Rama's mango. So, Rama's mango is sweet is a positive degree. Okay. Second sentence, Hari's mango is sweeter than Rama's. Now, if you see carefully, you'll see Hari's and Rama. So, there are two persons taken into consideration. So, when there are two persons taken into consideration, we use comparative degree. So, sweeter. Hari's mango is sweeter than Rama's. Okay. Third sentence, Govind's mango is the sweetest of all. Now, here we are taking into consideration many people, all. Okay, so in that case, we use the superlative degree, and the superlative degree of sweet is sweetest. So, Govind's mango is the sweetest of all. If you notice over here, you know, the is being preceded by this sweetest over here is preceded by the. So, in superlative degree is preceded by the. Okay, the article. So, whenever we use the superlative degree, we use the before that. Okay, for example, rose is the most beautiful flower. So, here we are talking about rose and we are describing it as the most beautiful. No other flower is as beautiful as rose. So, when we are using superlative degree over here of beautiful, we are using the before the superlative degree. Second example, the Ganga is the longest river. So, again, the is preceded by the is preceded before the superlative degree longest. Now, there are certain rules of formation of degree of comparison. So, when we form comparative or superlative degrees, we need to keep in mind certain rules. And they're simple, very easy. So, for example, bold, bright, cold. How do we form their comparative of superlative degrees? By adding er or es to positive degree. So when we add er to bold, it becomes bolder. And in the superlative degree, we add est, it becomes boldest. Likewise, for bright, in comparative second form, we add er, it becomes brighter. And the superlative, we add est. So it becomes brightest. Cold, colder, coldest. Now, in the second case, in some of the degrees, when we need to make these positive degrees to comparative or superlative degrees, we simply add r in the comparative state and est in the superlative form. Okay, So, for example, able becomes abler by adding R, and in the superlative form, we add st. Okay, so it becomes ablest. Likewise, pure. So, we added R for in the comparative degree and est in the superlative. So, purest, wise, wiser, wisest. All right. Now, what is the third rule? So, there are certain words like sad, thin, hot. What do we do to them? We simply double the last consonant and add er and est to the positive degree. What do? We simply double the consonant, that is D, N, T. So if we double it, and what do we do next? We add ER and EST to the positive degree. So sad, we double D and we add ER, becomes sadder, comparative, saddest in superlative form. Likewise, thin, add the consonant, one more consonant, N, thin, add ER, thinner, and again est, thinnest, hot, hotter, hottest. It's simple. What is the fourth rule? By changing the last y into I. Now, in the word busy, by changing the last y into I, by adding er and est to the positive degree. So by changing the last y, we remove the y and replace it by I. So we change the y into I, and by adding er, so we add er to the positive degree, it becomes comparative degree. And when we add est, it becomes superlative. So busy becomes busier and busiest in the superlative form. Likewise, heavy becomes heavier and heaviest in the superlative form. And easy becomes easier and easiest. Now, the fifth rule, by adding more, most before the positive degree. Now, for example, there are two bags, okay, and the first bag is beautiful, and the second bag is even more beautiful than the first bag. So, what will you say? It's a beautifuler bag? No, it sounds incorrect, right? So, in that case, when you need to express your opinion for the bag and you need to compare the two of them, in such cases, we use more or most. For the word beautiful, the comparative degree would be more beautiful, and the superlative would be most beautiful. So, such words, what do we do to actually change them to comparative or superlative degree? We simply add more and most before the positive degree. So for example, here active, now we won't say activer and activist, no, it will be incorrect. So we say positive, in the positive degree active is there, we simply add more to active, it becomes more active. In the superlative form, we add most before active, so it becomes most active. Careful, more careful, most careful. Pleasant, more pleasant, most pleasant. All right? Now, there are some words wherein these rules just don't fit in. So, when we have irregular words and we have irregular way of forming these words, okay, how do we use it then? So, bad becomes worse and worse becomes worst in superlative degree. Good becomes better and better becomes best. Much becomes more becomes most. Okay, so these are different ways how you can form comparative and superlative degrees, the rules stated before. But when we use them in sentences, it will become more clear to you and it will be really easy to use them then. So let's have a look over here. Greenland is the largest island in the world. Now, largest is the superlative form, right? It's the highest degree. So, the positive of largest is large, and comparative is larger, and superlative is largest, and it is preceded by the. So, we're using the before the superlative degree, as stated before. So, Greenland is the largest island in the world. No other island is as large as Greenland. So, in that case, we are using the superlative degree. Air is lighter than water. So, now if you see here, lighter is comparative degree because here we are actually comparing the two, water and air. So, air is lighter than water. Third sentence, Sham is the strongest boy in the class. Now, here it's a superlative degree since we are actually talking about a boy and we are comparing the whole class with it, and we are saying that he is the most strong person. So, strongest is being used over here. Okay, he's the strongest boy in the class. Fourth, Porus was as great as Alexander in valor. So here we are using the positive degree because we are talking about one person and the positive degree is being used. Great, simply, unchanged. Then fifth example, sandalwood is the most valuable wood. Okay, so here most valuable is the superlative form, most valuable. You remember? Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Likewise, most valuable. Sixth, Linda doesn't feel better today. Now, better is in the second form, the comparative form. So, good, better, best. So, here we are using better. I hope this is clear.